This program is brought to you by First National Bank of Botswana. Welcome to First Issues. In the heart of Palape, a quiet revolution is bubbling up, led by entrepreneur Thandie, who is the founder of Aquatic PH. This company, which manufactures recyclable PET plastic bottles in sizes ranging from 500 milliliters to 5 liters for the growing local food and beverage industry, embodies the very solution to the economic struggles currently facing Botswana. For a nation grappling with persistent high unemployment and the long-standing challenge of relying too heavily on a single sector, supporting enterprises like Aquatic PH is not just commendable, it is essential. Botswana's economy, like many others in the region, continues to battle high unemployment. According to data from the Botswana Quarterly Employment Survey, the official national unemployment rate has hovered around 20.6%, with youth unemployment being even more acute at over 40%. And Aquatic PH directly tackles this problem by establishing a manufacturing base in Palape. The company provides sustainable jobs, from factory floor operators and quality control specialists to logistics and administrative staff. Crucially, Aquatic PH drives economic diversification, the long-term strategy Botswana needs to survive and thrive. For decades, the nation's economy has been largely dependent on the mining sector, primarily diamonds. This reliance leaves the country vulnerable to global commodity price fluctuations. By moving into manufacturing, particularly one catering to the non-mining food and beverage industry, Aquatic PH helps shift the economic center of gravity. And on that backdrop, here's our conversation with Boipelo. You know, there's so many fears that come with starting something that is new, that is foreign to you. So, were there any fears for you when you were starting out with Aquatic PH? And if there were, how did you overcome them?
Before I started this business, I went around to see how many females are doing it, because males, it's male dominated. So I was so afraid, because I wanted to know if I can make it. I was afraid if people around Palape will come and support me. So I went to different entities. I wanted to know if they can buy my water. By then, there was only one shop in Palape. So which means I was going to be the second. So I did feasibility study. So with that, I found out, no, I can do this.
For as long as you've been building this company, trying to grow it to this level of success that you have envisioned for it, right? What would you say is the greatest accomplishment that you have managed to achieve thus far?
My greatest accomplishment is buying the pet blowing machine. The pet blowing machine, because with this business, you also need to purchase bottles, and buying them, it's very expensive. So I set time aside, like I was like, in this time, I'll have to buy the machine. I went to China for Expo to see how the machine works, to see how much it cost. My biggest accomplishment was when the machine arrived in Botswana. Yes. And with the pet blowing machine, it means that I'm cutting costs for buying bottles. It also brings revenue to me, because now I'm supplying other shops. I'm supplying the water purification. I'm supplying people who are doing detergents. I'm supplying people who are doing ginger, because they come and buy the bottles for me.
What would you say is the greatest takeaway for you about entrepreneurship?
this business, it's male dominated. There are only few ladies who are in this business. What I've learned is that we as women, we are afraid of the challenge. We are afraid of change. So, you know, in entrepreneurship, most men dominate. But since I've been in this business, I've seen we women, we can make it, and we can even make it more than men. I'm doing this for other women out there, because when you are in business, it shouldn't be your business only. You should engage. Like what I always do here, most of the things that I'm happy about, if there are women conferences around Palape, I'll approach them. I've got pet blowing, I've got water purification. If you want them to come and learn about the process, they come and learn about the process. Because with knowledge, you don't have to just to keep your knowledge, you have to embrace it and give it to others. So that, because if you give others, you'll grow. You multiply. And I want to start franchising, even though it gives me headache. But most of the people who I want to franchise with, it's women, because I want this country to be women-led also in entrepreneurship.
In an economy that is striving for stability and new direction, Thandie is laying down concrete, sustainable foundations, proving that the future of Botswana's prosperity will be built not just on the brilliance of its diamonds, but on the ingenuity and commitment of its own people and its local entrepreneurs. With that, we will see you shortly after commercials.
Bitsa motho gore motho a leke mangwala go duela metsi.
Mama, ka re male jana ha o tlhoka le go tsamela kgakala gore go duela metsi. FNB re diretse tiro motho.
Senthe.
Ma kwa go marekisetsong a ile gore ana le tshwala FNB Cash Plus. Se se tlhokanyela ke o mang wa gago mo tirisong le reference number e bon dinomoro tse diriswang go rurahatsa dituelo tsa gago.
FNB what?
FNB Cash Plus.
Madonna makante ke ngonto sampolele ka mananeo a FNB ya Cash Plus.
La ha re le nna ke gone go utang ka dona ebile ke ne ke sa dumele.
Deposit cash and coins, withdraw from e-wallet, make cardless cash withdrawals, buy prepaid airtime and electricity, pay bills such as water, electricity and many more.
FNB. Dona. Nyawa ena ke ra sa thara. Mpare motiki. Na ke ra go motho hela mamarapedi o tola skontere hela o bua go semosong wa go duela semosong manane wa FNB Cash Plus.
FNB, how can we help you?
Welcome back to First Issues, where the second segment cuts through the glamour of success to reveal the raw, often brutal challenges that entrepreneurs face on that journey. Tonight, our guest is Thandie Malebang, whose empire started 13 years ago in the dry cleaning business in Francistown. For more than a decade, it was a smooth, arguably successful operation. Then came the agonizing moment of decision. Other opportunities called in Gaborone, requiring her to relocate. With a successful business and a decade of loyalty behind her, Thandie placed her trust in the hands of employees she genuinely believed were capable of steering the ship. She packed her bags, confident that her legacy is secure, but trust, she soon learned, is a terrible substitute for presence. The enterprise was not just faltering, it was completely sunken. Years of smooth operations had been undone by an absence of oversight, leaving her facing the crushing necessity of liquidation. What went wrong, and what bitter truth can others harvest from this terrible ordeal? The company collapsed, right? Because you started running it via phone, checking it once in a while, because you trusted the stuff that was there. But one would assume that because there was a vetting process to hire people, then that means that we had staff that could operate and work independently without any supervision. So then, do you think then that there was a gap somewhere there in the vetting process?
Yeah, I think there was a gap in the vetting process in the sense that human beings are human beings. They will always find a loophole. They'll always find a space somewhere, even if it's a 1 minute space, to do what they wanted to do. Because if you are going to be running any business and you are not there physically, when you're not there physically, it's more like you're joking, because you need to be there. That's why you see in other people's shops, the person who is at the till is the owner of the business.
But my question still remains, right?
Yeah.
As entrepreneurs, you are people who should be able to look for other opportunities, travel for expansion opportunities as well, right? So you can't be watching stuff like a hawk all the time. So my question could be, do you think that there was more that could have been done so that the business remains or becomes a self-operating machine without you being there to be at the helm or at the steering wheel?
That's a very, very important and good question. As people, we grow. You want to make another branch there, and even outside the perimeters of the country, even outside the borders of the country. There was more that I could have done as a business owner. There was much that I didn't do as a business owner. I let people do what they wanted to do. I allowed people to have space without me checking on them frequently. So I am to blame upon the collapse of the business that I started, the one for the laundromat, because I was just allowing them to supervise themselves and do anything that they wanted, and they kept money within themselves for a long time. That is where the gap was. There was more that could be done. There was much that I could have done, but I did not. I am the one who failed the business personally.
So from you taking accountability, and I appreciate that you are taking accountability for your part in the business collapsing, right? So from that, what lesson do you think you have learned that you are still using today for your other endeavors that you're pursuing?
First of all, as a business owner, you need to have financial management skills to know that there is money for the business, there is money for you as a person. You need to have a salary. If your salary ends on the 13th, it's done. The money for the business is there. It's not your money. Because first of all, when we get money as business owners, okay, let me say maybe in Africa or in Botswana, we decorate ourselves. We forget that we need to decorate the business. So if you decorate yourself before you decorate the business eventually is going to collapse. So make sure that the business has got those pillars that can sustain it with or without you. Even if you were to go on holiday for a month, that business must still thrive without you as the business owner, because you've got systems in place that are running the business.
That experience on its own for somebody else could have made them feel like they can't do the whole entrepreneurship schnig anymore. I want to find out from you, what was that experience for you? What was it like?
The lessons I got from the business that collapsed hasn't deterred me from pursuing other business adventures or avenues. It has indeed pushed me into dreaming more, because I know I'm wired for business. I'm an entrepreneur because I started doing business at a very tender age. So nothing can stop me from pursuing business, because I'm doing many other businesses now that I believe with discipline, with consistency, and sacrificing, it can go somewhere. It can reach to higher realms that I never even thought of. You know what I mean? So the one thing that you need as a business owner is that perseverance and that discipline. So it hasn't stopped me from pursuing other adventures or avenues. It has indeed given me, catapulted me and became a catalyst, catalyst to more businesses that I want to engage in. It has given me the why. Yeah. It has given me the why. So now I'm pushing, I'm pursuing, I'm pushing boundaries, and I'm grinding.
In the end, Thandie Malebang's story is a cautionary tale that an enterprise is a living thing that requires the constant physical breath of its creator to survive. On that note, see you shortly after commercials.
Ta bitsa motho gore motho a leke mangwala go duela metsi.
Mama kana male jana ha o tlhoka le go tsamela kgakala gore go duela metsi FNB re diretse tiro motho
senthe
ma kwa go marekisetsong a ile gore ana le tshwala FNB Cash Plus se se tlhokanyela ke o mang wa gago mo tirisong le reference number e bong dinomoro tse diriswang go ruratsa dituelo tsa gago.
FNB what?
FNB Cash Plus.
Madonna makante ke ngotso samplele ka mananeo a FNB ya Cash Plus.
La ha re le nna ke gone go utang ka dona ebile ke ne ke sa dumele.
Deposit cash and coins, withdraw from e-wallet, make cardless cash withdrawals, buy prepaid airtime and electricity, pay bills such as water, electricity and many more.
FNB.
Dona. Nyawa ene ke ra sa thare. Mpare mo dike. Na ke ra go motho hela mamarapedi. Botola skontere hela. Wa go semosong wa go duela semosong. Manane wa FNB Cash Plus.
FNB, how can we help you?
Welcome to the last segment of First Issues, where our aim is to bring attention to some solutions and maybe answers to some problems that entrepreneurs encounter.
When you fail with a business, when any business fails, it comes with a huge impact.
It's a long fight and it's a bloody fight.
You will get to a point whereby you feel depressed.
You question yourself.
You don't even want to get out of bed.
You're gonna trip, you're gonna fall, and a lot of things are not gonna go the way you expect.
There are many times you're just gonna feel like, okay, I really want to give up.
The focal challenge on this segment is mental health and how entrepreneurs suffer in silence. This is where professionals come in, who are well versed in pointing those who are suffering in the right direction, especially in a culture where mental health illnesses and issues are considered taboo. Tonight, we are in conversation with Botselo Tiroya Modimo, founder and managing director at Mind Gaze, an online platform that matches those seeking therapy with more culturally aligned therapists across the African continent and the diaspora. How does it all work, and how do you stand to benefit as an entrepreneur?
So with Mind Gaze, we were like, hey, let's help both ends. We have the group of people that are really looking for therapy, Africans that are outside Africa, students, expatriates, that are looking for culturally aligned therapy, right? Mm-hmm. And then we have the psychologists, right? And the psychologists are also looking for clients, they're looking for business. Mm-hmm. They just don't understand how to do it. So then Mind Gaze then was the middle ground where we pull in the therapists. We talk about, hey, we have this. We will do all the marketing. We will do all the awareness on mental health and attract and call these people that really need your support. So you don't have to think about the business side and they don't have to think about looking for you guys, and you meet through the app.
You rightly point out, right, that there's a cultural aspect really to everything, and I can imagine it's the same for therapy. And in our country, mental health conversations, mental health support are still some sort of a taboo. So in a culture like that, in a country like that, how do you encourage people to seek out mental health support?
I think the taboo is a misalignment of information. It's a stereotype where, oh, it's a rich kid with that rich problems, right? And that's not the case. The case is we all have internal battles. We all have stress. We all have issues that if we can deal with at an early stage, we can then obviously, see the value in a therapist, because they can even prevent certain conditions like depression.
How would you advise an entrepreneur who's stressed out to seek out mental health support? And What is it that they're supposed to be looking out for? That is a bell that you were talking about that says, I need help.
I think our body tells us when we need help. We just ignore it, right? Especially when you're an entrepreneur, you're running at 100 miles per minute. The danger of it is sometimes you only see it when it's already at its worst, that, okay, I'm having intense stress or I'm having intense burnout, and I haven't had the time or the space to process all of this that's happening. Because with entrepreneurship, everything goes wrong all the time. It's just part of the process, right? And even before it goes wrong, what you can actually do is have a therapist who can sort of give you those tools to use before anything goes wrong, right? I mean, preventative care is always the best thing, right? And I think a lot of entrepreneurs are in this danger zone where, because they're focusing on so many things, they tend to forget themselves completely. It's all about this baby that they're trying to raise, which is the business, and getting it to this point. Once it's reached that point, it has bigger problems, and then you're focusing on those problems, and you're only going to really feel what you're feeling when it's bad, and now you're even at the risk of losing what you've built.
But then let us talk about somebody who can't get an entrepreneur for whatever reason, can't get the therapist or the psychiatrist or the psychologist or even the counselor, right, for a lack of funds. What coping tools can they employ and adopt that can help them cope with the pressures of being an entrepreneur? Like you rightly said, that the CEO, you're the marketing person, you are in customer service, you're literally the business.
Yeah. I think one thing entrepreneurs find difficult is doing nothing. Even when you're trying to be productive, you try to think of something to do, right? It's important that you really slot out time to do nothing, literally. Just resting, existing, being, without attaching value to a target or a goal that you have. That's very crucial, and the ways that you can do that are different.
In the wise words of mental health advocate Butelo Tiroya Mudimu, as an entrepreneur, you should not wait until your situation is dire to seek mental health support. The sooner, the better. And with that, we have come to the end of tonight's installment of Thursday Issues. Till next time, good night. This program was proudly brought to you by First National Bank of Botswana.